It's always interesting to be the first session right after lunch or around that time. So thank you for making the time and coming down for this session. My name is Satish Thomas. I run product for some of the products that we're going to talk about in a bit, Dynamics 365 Customer Insights, Product Insights, and our Power Platform Data Integration Suite. So again, super excited today to be talking about how you can build unified data strategies to drive AI for customer, product, and market insights. All right. We're having some, it's Ignite, so we're used to it.
Yeah, just unplug.
Okay, perfect. So, obviously, digital transformation is rapidly changing the business landscape, right? So there's a lot of things that are fundamentally changing for all of our businesses, wherever there's a customer involved, which is pretty much all of us. And it's changing in many different facets, right? The first thing is the fact that, we're going from a world where we're selling products and services separately to basically being able to sell products and services and, more importantly, outcomes, right? One and done and transactional to a point where it's personalized, and customer lifetime value is very important. Somebody very famous, I forget who it was, mentioned a few months ago that reducing churn has become the new growth, right? So unless you can kind of keep your existing customers very happy, that is probably the most critical thing in today's kind of more customer-centric businesses. And then going from primarily being human interactions and reactions to being proactive. There's data coming out of everything, IoT-enabled devices, not just to fix something when it's broken, but to proactively detect when things might be about to break and kind of get into that proactive motion as well. And then finally, data is coming from everywhere, right? Which is, if you look at business applications, traditionally it's always been somebody entering data in front of a screen, depending on whether it's a phone or a computer. But there's always somebody explicitly entering data to a point where, it's customer and product data coming first from everywhere, et cetera. Now, in that world, what we believe is for every company to be competitively ahead and for true AI-first businesses, you need a true understanding of all of the customer data you already have, right? So you already have a lot of customer data sitting in your systems. There's product usage data that's sitting there. So in order for you to be very successful in this world, you need to first have the best understanding of all of that so that you can use AI on top of it to drive business processes. Now, I'm sure everybody in this room can appreciate the fact that it's easier said than done. Typical AI projects, et cetera, it's very siloed, it's very boutique type. And in a lot of cases, for the customers that we talk to, it's very, very consultant heavy, right? And as Microsoft, how can we help democratize all of this? How do we make it easier? How do we kind of help build a platform beneath all of this that helps you become AI-first companies is what I will kind of talk about more in this session, and more importantly, show you some demos and products and all of that good stuff. Now, let me bubble up in terms of, we've been talking to a lot of customers over the last few, our journey around the CDP started about a year ago, but we've been talking to a lot of customers. And if you look at, the problem of, the AI type of problem, it's a complex, multivariant problem, right? And you essentially basically have to stabilize a few things in that problem, which is, first you need to have that solid data platform, which is having that unified view of the customer so that you can do AI on top of it more easily. And it always helps if it's one platform and one unified view across your company, so that different parts of your company is not looking at kind of siloed data and doing AI just on top of that siloed data. And it sits everywhere. It's no longer just in one system. It's not just in a Microsoft system. It could be from many places. It could be Microsoft, Salesforce, Adobe, and that's fine. And it could be different types of data. It could be product usage data. It could be customer data. It could be survey data. It could be social data, right? And how do we help you build the most unified view of the customer is sort of the problem that we kept hearing from customers as we talked through. The final thing is, it's one thing to have a unified view. What do you do with it, right? And this is where the integration story we have with the rest of the Dynamics applications, the Power Platform for it to be extensible, and more importantly, the core Azure platform becomes very, very key. But this is kind of common themes we heard as we talked to customers over the last period. So with that, we fundamentally believe that a customer data platform, and what we talked about more at the keynote this morning, is at the crux of having an AI-first company. So let me go through the layering in this diagram. So at the tip of the spear, we have Microsoft Dynamics Customer Insights and Product Insights, which together give you a 360 view of the customer, which includes everything about your customer and how that customer is using your products and services for you to be able to do AI on top of it to drive business processes. So think about the past when somebody buys a product and they walk out of your store or they check out from your website. That's usually it, right? But now we have the opportunity to even instrument those products, be it devices, a website, or an app, so you can get that full 360 view of that customer journey. Now, again, we have a lot of products, but I think the key thing is how we basically layer this approach. And throughout the session, I'm actually going to up-level and go through each of these layers. At the bottom, we basically have, the Microsoft Customer Data Platform is built on our strength of data processing and connector ecosystem. So this is what enables you to bring in data from everywhere. And then we're able to unify at scale, right? So data unification is a non-trivial problem, especially where you have data coming from all these systems, and there is no key between these systems. So you basically need to figure out what that key is, and I'll show you what that experience looks like. The third thing here is the enrichment part, which is enrichment with AI models. So you could enrich these unified customer profiles with things like churn score, next best action, or customer lifetime value. But on top of that, we also have Microsoft proprietary enrichments, such as brand affinity and interest that, that only one or two companies on planet Earth can do, right? So that's, again, something that we provide you the ability to enrich on top of all of this. And I think the top and the bottom are probably the most important parts of this, right? The fact that it's built on a hyperscale, Microsoft Azure, our platform, and the fact that across, with the Power Platform, you're able to extend all of this either to build custom applications with Power Platform, to do deep analytics with Power BI, or to do customer journey orchestration with Microsoft Flow. And all of this can be leveraged as ingredients to basically power those end-to-end personalized customer experiences. So as we go through the session, these are the layers, and when we go through the demos, I'll basically be referencing each piece of this. Now, what better way to show you an example of what this looks like, in the context of an organization like yours, or in this case, a test organization, sample organization. So when you notice here, this is an example of a customer card of what's possible on top of all of this. You'll notice that for Patty, we're able to see her address, her what is a preferred method of communication. And you'll notice there's an engagement score. So that is coming from multiple siloed customer systems that we unify and we're able to display. And that high engagement, the engagement score, is the output of an AI model that is used to enrich the model as well. The second thing in terms of what's possible is the market signal. So this is what I was referring to in terms of those proprietary signals that we can enrich this profile with on top of that unified profile. So specifically things like brand affinity and interest. So we're able to say things like at an aggregated level, for a customer, for a category like automobile, we're able to say that, hey, this individual's brand affinity is, it might be BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and interest could be Formula One racing, et cetera. And that's possible from the Microsoft graph. The third thing, which is, super important in the context of this, is it's not just about the customer, it's also about how the customer is using your products. Right? Now, that product could be, again, like I mentioned, a device, an app, or a website, right? And being able to know all of that, being able to instrument all of that, and understand that in the context of a customer becomes super, super valuable, right? So you can basically say things like, churn is not just about whether a customer did a transaction, it's also whether they've actually come to your website and browsed in the last N number of months. So all of those things become possible with this, this view of the customer, product, and market being available as that unified profile to all of you. So with that said, given this is a lot of you are developers in the room, what I want to give you is a little bit of a click down on how we basically enable all of this, and then I'll kind of step into the demo that shows all of this. So at the core of this thing is the fact that you're able to bring in data from wherever it might be, right? So it could be within a dynamic system. It could be within a third-party system like Salesforce. It could be survey system. It could be social. And you're able to bring that into our CDP through our connectors. So if you're familiar with the Power Platform, Power BI, et cetera, you see those connectors. Those connectors also work for custom insights and the CDP approach that we're talking about here. In addition to that, you're also able to instrument your products using our product insights, to be able to bring that product and service usage information in here. Once you bring all of that together, you're basically able to unify it, and this is where I'll kind of show how that unification experience looks like. And then finally, you're able to get that 360 view of the customer and be able to do more with it, like generate insights, et cetera. So you're able to work on top of that unified data with Azure AI or machine learning. You're able to do deeper analytics, and all of this kind of surfaces up to customer insights and product insights with which you can do much more. The last thing, which is probably the most important thing, is the fact that because all of this data is in that platform available in the common data service as well, you can actually use that to do a lot more, whether it's a marketing use case or a service use case. So if you look at typically, CDPs have been associated with marketing use cases, but one of the things that we really enable is the fact that you can take all of this data and light up the use cases wherever it might be in your business through all of these integrations. So what better way to show all of that with a real customer example, and that's where we want to dig a little bit deeper into the AEP energy scenario. And let's roll a video before I step into the demo.
Well, AEP Energy is an energy solutions company. We have over 400,000 customer accounts, stretching everywhere from residential to small business to commercial industrial.
As our suite of services expands, we don't really have the tools in place right now to match emerging technologies to kind of emerging customer segments. We've got a lot of customers, we've got a lot of data, we've got a lot of data about our customers.
We not only have that data from accounts, opportunities, contacts, but we also have legacy ERP information that we want to utilize. And so that could be anything from contract information to pre-CRM information as well. Life before customer insights, we had a lot of manual processes, and so a salesperson would have to have multiple systems, piece them together to actually get the full picture of a customer. Using customer insights, we can actually migrate that big group of data into our Dynamics 365 platform and see that we went from having all these duplicate accounts to now we have one profile for each specific account. If we're competing with another supplier, we have information that can help us actually provide maybe a better or similar product or service that might just give us the edge for what that customer needs.
If you boil energy down to its simplest form, we're selling electrons. Ours aren't different from anyone else's. It's more about how do we engage with customers, how do we make our services and our relationship with the customer more than the commodity. That's the heart of our business.
Customer insights will help us both with the customers we have today and satisfying them better in our metrics and objectives around the customer experience, but also help us identify gaps in our products and services or segments that we haven't been able to serve.
We can actually make sure that those salespeople that need to make split-second decisions have the right information at their fingertips. fingertips. For our customer service team, when somebody calls in, we can provide them with the information they need. Or if they're a potential new customer, we can provide that consultative service where we can ask them the right questions and then provide them with a better product.
The promise of customer insights is that it can make from the very front end to the back end more efficient and more focused.
And it'll help us get more customers, keep the customers we have, and have them more satisfied.
Cool. All right, so with that context, what I wanted to show is exactly what AEP was able to do. Let me actually... Okay, we're back. So as you can see here, what I'm going to walk you through is what AEP went through with customer insights and basically enriching with product insights. So you'll notice here, as you heard in the video, AEP has data, customer data sitting in a lot of disparate sources, right? So they're going from buying and selling electrons to becoming more consultative partners with their customers to get them the best energy decision, and hopefully that's more green solutions. So here, what you'll see is within customer insights, looks like there was a timeout. Okay, so they were able to bring in a lot of this customer data. Right? So you'll notice here that they brought in data from Dynamics, they have pre-enrollment lists, they have opportunities, and more importantly, they have product insights and utility usage data coming in. On top of that, they also have weather data coming in. So think about this, right? So it's not just about transactional systems, it's about transactional systems, how your products are being used, weather data that you would not have been able to bring together previously. Now, once you bring in the data, the next thing is to be able to unify the data. Looks like we're having logouts here. Just give me 1 second. Perfect. So once you actually bring in all of the data, actually before I get there, one of the things, as I mentioned before, is the fact that you can bring in data from everywhere. So here you'll notice all the connectors that we have available today. So again, if it's Dynamics, if it's SAP, if it's Oracle, wherever the source of data is, you can actually bring it into customer insights. So, having worked with a lot of these customers that have gone through the journey so far, lack of a connector has never been an issue, right? Because even if a connector for your specific data source is not there, you're actually able to bring it into intermediate sources like CSV to bring it into customer insights. But the goal is to be able to bring in as much customer data in so that you can build more of those unified views of the customer. Now, once you bring in the data, this is where the more interesting thing starts, which is, assume you have 3 sources of 400 sources, right? The first thing that customer insights helps you do is first map that data. So think about this scenario typically, right? It's a lot of manual effort by consultants or somebody in your IT department. And in this case, what Customer Insights does is we automatically identify what that attribute is. So for example, things like what looks like a first name, what looks like a last name, address. And the idea is, in the interest of time to value, we want to basically get you to, for the most part, just click next, next, next here. So when you're going through your first use case or a POC, in a lot of cases, the mapping stage just becomes a review and proceed, right? And this is a lot of Microsoft research work that we've actually productized to make this real. The second thing is, the crux of the problem, which is how do you create keys where keys don't exist? So this is where, in the case of AEP, they have a lot of business data coming in from various systems. So in this case, organization names and company name coming from 2 different systems, right? And it's a very configuration type experience on top of which you can basically tweak the precision. You can basically say if it's a marketing use case, you might go with light precision versus a finance use case where you might go high precision, right? Now, what you're seeing here is company name and organization name. So we do this. The concept of a customer can both be when your customer is a business, or in the case of B2B scenarios, or when your customer is an individual in the case of B2C scenarios, right? And this is usually a very, very tough problem. And this is where the configuration, the ability to get lineage on top of this information and get the auditability for this is super important. So one of the examples I always give my team is it's a tough problem. And to show that example is, I've been a customer of a hotel chain that recently went through some mergers and all that good stuff. And all of a sudden, my record name became Mandy Thomas, right? So true story. And my wife's name is not Mandy, right? But one of the things that, because I'm working in this space, is I called them up and said, what went wrong here, right? And it turns out, when I went to school, the school had 3,000 people with the same address, right? So when they basically did the match rules, it was not as tight as it needed to be. But unfortunately for them, they didn't have lineage to figure out where it happened, right? So that's where this experience, as you go through this CDP and building that unified approach, becomes very, very important, right? Having a configuration type experience where you can go in and see where all the data came from, and if something goes wrong, be able to tweak it, becomes very, very critical. Now, finally, once you have a unified profile, you can actually go set up segments. But before that, what I want to talk about in the context of AI is the fact that all of this data is stored in a lake that allows you to actually do AI and ML. So here, the example I'm showing you here is through Azure ML, through Azure Machine Learning, you're able to build models on top of that unified profile that now contains the customer information, the product usage, and everything else to basically build more effective ML algorithms. Okay? So in the case of AEP, they actually built a solar propensity model basically to figure out which of their customers have the highest propensity to buy those solar products or those green energy solutions, right? So again, building, when you look back at the layer, the first layer was to get the data and the unified profile right. The second thing is to be able to enrich that with AI models such as this so that you can do more. The third thing in the context of AEP that I wanted to show was, now that you have the 360, the full unified view of the customer, what they wanted to do was enable their salespeople or their energy advisors when they're talking to customers to have this 360 view of the customer so that they can actually move their business forward. So there's three things that I wanted to highlight here. The first thing is, all of this data from customer insights is actually showing up in a Dynamics instance. Now, you could do that in any other system where your business users are. But there's three pieces of information that I wanted to highlight here. The first thing is a 360 view of the customer. I can also see how that customer is using their products and services right here. And on the right, as a salesperson, I'm also able to see what is the best product I should recommend to this customer based on their usage, based on the weather, based on where they're living, and whether a solar panel makes sense for them. So think about that for a second, right? You had all these disparate data sources. We unified it, allowed you to do AI on top of it, and more importantly, take that information and empower your business users, be it in sales, service, or marketing, to be able to move that business forward. And the goal is hopefully that one of these recommendations basically become a purchased product and more things happen. Now, I never ever talk about customer insights without talking about the Power Platform. And this is something that the AP team is actually considering in terms of how do they empower their service professionals that actually go on site to also see this 360 view of the customer in terms of what makes sense for them. So what I'm showing you here is actually a Power App that was actually built on top of the unified view of the customer. And you can see that again, you've got a contextual view of what makes sense for that service individual as they talk to a customer. So you can see the KPIs, you can see some recommendations in terms of, what are those service plans that make the most sense to the customer, et cetera. Now, going back to, the deck. So one of the things, again, talking about the next layer in all of this is the data layer, right? So as you notice, we brought in all of that data, we unified the data, and one of the key things is the fact that all of this data is stored in an Azure data lake, and you can do analytics with Synapse that was announced earlier today, okay? So that means there's truly no cliffs extensibility, and the important thing here is that data lake is exactly your data lake. So it's not sitting in Microsoft's data lake that you don't have access to. All of that unified data sits in a customer's data lake on top of which you can do a lot more. So with that, I'm actually going to show you what Synapse looks like in the context of all of this. So again, all of this unified data landed in a data lake, and what I'm showing you here is the fact that you can actually browse all of that data through Synapse directly. So again, you'll notice here that we have the customer insights output. You can basically come in and see, how we merge the profiles, et cetera, et cetera. And you can do even more AI on top of it. You can do deeper analysis. You can do Spark queries on top of this. But again, it's showing that no-cliffs extensibility that we enable as part of it. So that's that's another layer of our overall CDP approach. Now, the last thing that is a big part of this and very valuable as part of that layered story that I showed earlier is the fact that you can visualize and do deeper analysis on top of all of this data sitting in the lake. So here again, I'm going to show you what AEP was able to do in terms of building a Power BI dashboard on top of all of that unified data that makes sense for AEP. So this is what a business analyst at AEP potentially could do to identify ways to optimize the sales and service scenarios, et cetera. So again, what you saw there was ability to bring in all of that data, ability to unify the data, ability to enrich with AI, and finally the no-cliffs extensibility with both just the hyperscale Microsoft Azure cloud and the Power Platform across the board. Now, the next thing that I actually wanted to show, there's a lot of, the next layer in all of that is once you've actually brought together all of this data, so when you looked at the mapping, we're actually mapping it to the Microsoft Common Data Model. So it's a schematized form, so it's not just another schema. So the advantage of having this schematized data is the fact that there's a lot of out-of-the-box scenarios that just light up. So think about this for a second. You brought in all of this disparate data. You actually unified it. You've done a lot of further build business process and enriched it. But one of the things that really lights up as part of doing all of that is the fact that we have out-of-the-box capability. And the example that I'm showing you here is something that's in preview today, which is our natural language search capability. So assume that you can come in and ask things like, what opportunities are closing soon? So soon is, again, you can go, it'll basically understand what that means, and it'll obviously learn from what you're basically mentioning here. Let me show you another example, which is, I don't type that fast, but there's actually a tool that helps you type fast. What opportunities are closing before Christmas 2019? Again, all of this on top of that unified view of the data. So think about what this will do in your organizations as you democratize access to that unified data and enable people closest to where they can make the impact gain access to all of this data. And just for fun, we'll keep going with this one. Deals we've won since Halloween. When is Halloween, right? So just natural language search and basically being able to understand a lot of that. So we have a great AI team within business applications which are working closely with us to basically light this up and similar scenarios, et cetera. So again, this is preview, but I wanted to give a taste of, once you've schematized this, what is possible on top of it. And this is one great example of that. Now, moving on, the next thing actually that I wanted to go over is, I went through the AEP scenario, but who best to explain it than somebody from the customer itself. So with that, I'd like to welcome Tim Noce on stage to just come on up. Cool.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So Tim, just very quickly, thanks a lot for, we've been working very closely. Thanks for all the feedback and that good stuff. But I just want to kind of get your take, and hopefully you can share with the group, in your mind, what are some key differentiators for CI that you see?
Yeah, so with customer insights, especially you heard kind of the AEP Energy story here. We have a lot of customers, we have a lot of data, and unfortunately that data is not all in the same place. So the other good news about customer insights for us is that it doesn't just mean all that data is being collected in a box underneath someone's desk, right? So that helps us a whole lot, because what we really try to do at AEP Energy is provide those valuable insights for our customers, and we need all that data for one customer profile. Otherwise, it takes way too much time, and sometimes we might not have all the data we need to give that advice.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, getting all the data is, unified and all that good stuff is one thing, but what are some of the key business values that you're going for and feel you've achieved with your CI?
Yeah, so key business values. Our energy advisors, their time is obviously very valuable. We know that if they have to spend hours, if not more, actually trying to get that data together, either doing it themselves or with the help of a lot of our other groups in our organization that help them do that, it's not going to be time well spent. And so using customer insights and using Dynamics 365 to help them have that information at their fingertips when they're talking to a customer, when they're trying to be on site to talk to them about a good solution, whether it be renewable services, otherwise, that's what really brings the business value to us.
Nice. So just to give one of the things that we spend a lot of time is talking about time to value. So what was what was your experience with time to value with customer insights and where you started the experience with?
Oh yeah, so our story was we worked with customer insights to and actually our partner Avtex to bring a very specific solution for what we wanted. We wanted to actually get all of our customer information into one specific profile, because not only do we have various different places where we store the data of our customers, but even within something as simple as our CRM system, you might have various duplicate records, you might have various different accounts that are actually related to the same person or the same company. And I'm sure nobody in the audience has that, but we did. And so Customer Insights actually helped us with that use case, and that was only scratching the surface to where we're at right now.
Yep. Cool. Actually, the deduplication is very common, as you can imagine. So the last thing, what's next? What's next on your journey of redefining your customer experiences and all that good stuff?
Yeah. So what we're most excited about to see in the future is first and foremost the new B2B functionality. So within AEP Energy, we serve more than just residential customers and more than just people like you and I. We serve large businesses, commercial, industrial, you name it. And we know that that's where we wanted to start our focus, because if we tried to do everything at once, we might not be able to do everything. Yep. And so we focused really on these specific B2B customers, and that new functionality that was rolled out in October is going to be very helpful to do that. Afterward, the thing you just showed up there, the natural speech recognition, I think is really exciting with our sales managers specifically, because sometimes even our best sales managers might not know how to write that ad hoc query of the things they're trying to find, but that can actually be very helpful for that. And then last but not least, we're really looking forward to integrating it more with Dynamics 365, giving our salespeople the ability and our energy advisors the ability to kind of help drive those renewable conversations, drive that energy consultative conversation, and then beyond that, again, really working to drive that new initiative. But even more so, I know there's a ton of other stuff we're trying to do, and if anybody in the audience has any questions for me afterward, I'd be happy to talk to you.
Yeah, there's always more to do. One last thing.
Yeah.
So I think typically, can you share a little bit about, was it all from your IT department? Did you work with a partner? What is that?
Okay, so great question. So this was actually kind of a collaborative effort, but it was brought to the IT department, I guess, as a whole by the business. So we had a need, and we talked about what that was. So we're working to really get all of our data to Dynamics 365 in the most efficient way possible, right? And so we knew that we had not the most perfect data, and that was actually brought to us by the business. And so then the IT group, and I kind of function in the middle ground there. So traditional product owner, if you're like an agile type of group, that's kind of the role I serve. And so that was brought together by the business, and then with Microsoft and with Avtex, we kind of said, hey, this might be a solution that can help us get to that next level, and then also provide a lot of other incentives with that as well. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of why we hopped on to Customer Insights, because we knew it could help us not only solve our short-term problems, but also some long-term problems as well.
And is there like a specific partner that you worked with, or was it all kind of in-house?
Yeah, so originally we kind of talked about it in-house, but yeah, so Avtex was the partner that we're working with now, and they were the partner we worked with at the beginning of this too.
Cool. Awesome.
Yep.
hopefully that gave a little bit of taste, and thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
And thank you for offering to stay behind if you guys have any questions, because I think it's very important to kind of hear about how other people are going through this journey, and we're very happy to be working with AEP and the Avtex team on this specific journey, right? We celebrate we become successful when customers become successful, and that is the model that we like to operate under. Cool. So with that, now going up one more layer, right? So you saw how all of the data can be unified. You saw how it can get enriched with AI models, et cetera. You saw that all the data is inherently stored in an Azure data lake on top of which a lot of things light up, like Synapse for analytics, et cetera. The last and the most important thing, you also saw how you can use the Power Platform to do more, right? Whether to do deeper analytics, to build custom apps, et cetera. But one of the things that really, really stands out, and what we hear from customers and analysts, is the fact that the ease of ability that we enable for you to infuse all of this where your business users are doing their jobs, right? So obviously Dynamics 365 is one example that I showed you earlier, Power Platform, and even for third-party applications, such as Salesforce, SAP, et cetera. So that is key. It's not just about enabling it for Microsoft applications, it's enabling it for wherever your business users are. So with that, I actually want to bring up Ryan to basically show how this unified view of the customer can be leveraged within VirtualBots.
Thank you.
Cool.
There we go. Oh, we should do 5.
Everyone get the number?
Should be number 5. Oh, yeah, no, that's me. Sorry. I promised to do that. Okay, so thanks, Satish. So we're actually going to look at Power Virtual Agents, which you may have seen the True Green example earlier today. We're not going to repeat that demo. But what we are going to do is look how we take the customer data platform and we take technology that people can actually use who are closest to the problem and to solve what they're looking at. So in this particular example, we're looking at a printer company. And what they've done is developed a virtual agent that's obviously running on their website so that if someone calls them or contacts them, they have an ability here to actually use the virtual agent to solve the problem. This wouldn't be possible, and they would not offer as good of an experience if they didn't understand who the customer was. So again, I'm showing you the design studio so you get an idea of how easy it is to use. But on this left-hand side where we see the chat window, that's obviously what the customer is interacting with. So if I go here and say, hey, you know what? My smart printer that's at home isn't working at this moment, I'm obviously already probably not in the most happy state. Now, as this loads, one of the things I would like to call out here is our natural language understanding capability. So we're able to understand the intent of what the customer is asking and then pull up the direct topic that relates to that intent. And actually, we are using a natural language understanding model that has surpassed human parity on 9 different tasks. This isn't something Microsoft is saying. This is an independent study that is actually verified. So what does that mean? Is it will understand what a human is asking for better than I would be capable of doing, and it will also be able to jump to those topics as well. Now, the next thing that we're actually going to be doing here is seeing that the virtual agent is asking me a question. If I provide my email address here, that it is actually going to look up the information that I have, and it's doing that through the customer data platform that we saw. So again, personalizing the experience. The virtual agent is able to say, based on your CDP information, the last printer that you purchased was this one. Is this the problem that you're having? And in my case, it actually is. So I'll agree to that. Now here's one of my personal favorite examples. If I give this virtual agent permission to reach out to this IoT-enabled device, we can use Flow to actually go and perform a self-diagnostics on that printer and then provide the actual knowledge-based article on how to solve the problem. So again, no human involved at this particular moment, but definitely the security verification that we would be looking to do that. So I'll definitely come back because it goes quite quick over here in the designer screen. What's important for us to note is once these input variables are delivered, there's a single Power Automate flow that has been created here that can be reused for every single virtual agent that you want to deploy. So this is a build once and then use throughout the entire experience. If you need to build another topic that would actually perform this as well, you simply call that, include that in your flow, and it's going to be able to do that. This is dramatically reducing the time it takes to build these agents, and again, giving it to the person in the customer service department to actually go ahead and do that. So as we go through here, the printer actually was contacted. It found the following error message that the protective tape was not fully removed, and it supplied me with an applicable knowledge base article on how I solved that problem. I obviously follow the knowledge base article and respond that it has solved my problem. And then what we're going to see here is going back again to the customer data platform. In fact, it's going to recognize that in the last 6 months, I have purchased 12 cartridges. And I would benefit as a customer of not individually purchasing these every time, but to join a subscription plan. So that's actually helping on both sides. The customer is winning, but obviously the organization is also getting loyalty by this subscription service being signed up and offering good service. Now, in our example here today, because virtual agents are absolutely not supposed to be replacing humans, they're supposed to be augmenting the experience. Once we learn more about the product, the virtual agent will create a quotation, it will add the line items that we're expecting, but it will transfer us to a human agent to finalize the transaction that is going to take place. Now, each organization gets to decide which moments that they would like to do that, but it's an experience of working side by side, not just handing everything off to a virtual agent and not using people within your organization. In fact, what we're seeing is those people are focusing on more complex issues, and they're actually resulting in increased customer satisfaction. And lastly, what I really want to say is if you marry this with what we've talked about from the Power Platform point of view, you can obviously be accessing this through websites or mobile devices and giving these experiences to your customers. So with that, I think we'll hand it back to Satish and switch over here.
Thank you, Ryan. So I want to basically take it back to where we started, right? So, if you look at our, customer data platform approach, again, the fact that you're able to bring in all of your data, so you saw it through our Power Platform connectors, right? That is at the crux, the ability for you to unify data wherever that data is coming from, enriching it with AI models, and then at the tip, being able to basically use customer insights, and also being able to bring in product insights and how your customers are using your products and services. And then, most importantly, at both ends of this, basically the power of Azure, right? In terms of having all of this unified customer data being available there so you can do more scenarios, and the Power Platform where you can really, really take this unified view of the customer and help move your business forward, whether it's for sales, marketing, or service scenarios, wherever it might be, right? So hopefully you got a little bit of a taste of that end-to-end thing. So when you're building these exceptional customer experiences, one of the core things that you need to get right is, are you betting on the right platform? And hopefully throughout today, you got an idea of what makes up our customer data platform, what our approach is, and where we're going with this thing. With that said, I want to basically close it up with, there's a link in there. So in terms of what the key differentiators are, so if you think about the data-first understanding of your customer products and market, there's 3 key differentiators for all of this. The first thing is, again, the fact that it's a comprehensive view of the customer, right? So it's not just about coming from one system or 2 systems. It's about all of your customer data, including how that customer is using your products and services. The second thing is the fact that once you do AI on top of that unified data, that you're basically able to act on top of it and embed it where your business users are, right? So it's one thing to have a unified customer view somewhere. It's another thing to basically build actionable AI so that you can move your business forward, be it anywhere across sales, service, or marketing, or any other use cases. And the third thing, which I think is our biggest differentiator, is the fact that all of this is on Microsoft's hyperscale cloud platform, Azure, and the fact that it's no cliffs extensibility and customizable with the Power Platform. So hopefully you got a little bit of a taste of all of these things. And one of the things is I've been at Microsoft for about 12 to 3 years, and I've never worked on something that is so exciting in my mind, and there's just so much energy just from within Microsoft, and even the energy and we see from our customers and partners. So we really look forward to all of you kind of trying this, and more importantly, like I said, We only become successful when you guys, our customers and partners are successful. So we're really, really looking forward to all of you trying it, giving us your feedback, and helping us, move along in this digital transformation journey together. So with that, a few call to actions. Try and learn more. I guess it's two separate words there. You can go try Customer Insights today. It became generally available on April 1st. No joke. Dynamics 365 Product Insights, which is the product that I showed with which you can collect that product usage data to be able to enrich your customer profile. So Dynamics 365 Product Insights is in public preview today and has been in public preview since October 1st. And then what Ryan showed in terms of Power Virtual Agents, you can also go try that. And then, of course, AI Builder, which is, again, part of the Power Platform, which is part of our Uber AI story as well. So we really, really hope that all of you will go try this. And then any questions, feedback, feel free to reach out or let us know. With that, thank you.